am a rock star, not a monster.
I love how he gave that, like, that clenching fist. You.
You. Tonight.
This thing would have been a better final boss than the final boss we fucking get.
Oh, god damn it. Not the final boss fights again. Oh.
At least
Aha! My shield protected me for some reason.
Okay, again, I don't know much about Captain America. I'm assuming he has a lot of mech type stuff that he goes against. Am I correct?
During the World War II years, yeah.
Okay, so in this setting, he would have a lot of mech. Okay, steampunk type shit. And yet, they couldn't think of anything more than just this generic man-bot thing.
It doesn't even look very, like, retro, like, 1940s robot.
And I've seen steampunk do it well with westerns, you know? Like, in the Wild West days, they had better-looking mechs.
Yeah. Samurai Jack went up against better-looking mechs than this.
God, I miss Samurai Jack.
Remember we used to hate that show?
I know, and then it got good.
Yeah, we just... It stopped taking itself so seriously, and there was some more comedic elements that made the more serious elements better.
Right.
So, but the episode with the shoes, that's just fabulous.
Well, it's like, Courage, man. I used to love watching Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Yeah. And man, the first couple of seasons of that are bad, like, really bad.
When he stopped talking is when it got really good.
And it became more physical humor.
Yeah. And he's like, either this thing's a ghost or my name's Stinky Lulu.
Ugh.
And it's not.
Ugh.
That was the
And
worst.
it's not funny, Courage. It's not funny!
And then he's gonna, and then
The transformations.
Yeah. And he would do some of the most weird transformations that barely symbolized what the hell he was trying to say.
I wish Courage the Cowardly Dog would appear on screen, afraid of how bad this game is, and then just transform into a better game. I'd play a Courage the Cowardly Dog game.
Yeah, especially over a Captain America movie game.
There's no good Captain America games.
Outside of the fighting games he's in, but there's been none with him the main character.
None based off of him.
Right. He's been good in the universe side of games.
He has worse of a batting average than Superman. I'm not kidding.
Superman's at least had a couple of meh games. Like, I admit, I like...
We have Captain America and the Avengers.
Horrible.
We have Captain America Avengers on Nintendo, which is a different game where you have to play Hawkeye half the time. Oh, lucky me.
So it's shit, either way. So, yeah.
And then anybody wants to tell me other Captain America games that came out, because I don't know any. Really was not a very popular character when I was a kid.
Yeah, it was always X-Men or,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man was always pretty big.
Hulk was pretty big.
Yeah, Hulk had his share. But he had more like cartoons and stuff like that. I don't think he had many video games, exactly.
He had a few. I can at least remember one really bad game on the Genesis. And another really bad game on another console.
So I can't say, I didn't play much of his, so I can't speak on that. X-Men had some good ones and some really bad ones. The Genesis ones were fairly good for the most part.
Oh, I still love Clone Wars.
Spider-Man and X-Men game was horrible.
Oh, Arcade's Revenge, I think?
Something like that. It was fucking awful.
Yeah, I remember that game.
'Cause I remember, Storm had to swim. Gambit had to...
he had the fucking water levels.
Gambit had to constantly run to the right. Cause there was something always chasing him, and if it got caught up to you, you died. The game was fucking hard, but...
I remembered hating that game, like, where you have to beat the first level with Spider-Man, and there's this girder you have to swing across to get to the ledge on the other side of the level. And I remember, as a little kid, like, breaking down into tears and, like, turning the game off. Because how precise you have to be to get that fucking ledge. Like, you can't be too low and you can't be too high. And the controls were so awkward.
And it's not a surprise who made the game. Fucking LJN.
Trying to do an LJN rainbow sound. I can't. That doesn't go.
It's LJN. Did they ever make a good game? I don't remember.
I remember looking and just pretty much going, the best they ever did was mediocre.
And low mediocre at that.
It was like, well, they made the T2 arcade game, which...
Oh, okay.
That
was a fun little light gun.
It's a dumb screen shooter, but...
It was still worth the future plays.
Yeah. Let me see. I'm looking at them on, No, really? Okay, that's a toy line. I'm about to say, they did not make the E.T. game. That would just be too good.
That was before their time, I would think.
Oh.
Because LJN was NES era and
Yeah.
SNES. I think they died with the SNES.
They became Flying Edge Entertainment, and they lasted, until I think they got purchased or signed a contract with Acclaim. And then they eventually just dissolved.
Because Acclaim went out of business.
Warlock is an okay game. It's not great. The True Lies game is pretty fun.
Okay. So they've made some okay games, but 90% of their library is garbage.
Oh god, all the WWF games are terrible.
I remember thinking I liked them when I was a kid, and then you go back and play.
Well, there weren't other wrestling games available to us. The Fire Pro wrestling games are hard to come by in the US.
That's true. And then
other wrestling games were the other wrestling games that came out were more like arcade style, like Saturday Night Slam Masters and
yeah.
And WrestleMania arcades. So
So they were good for what they were, but they did not age for shit.
Oh my god! Oh, Wolverine Adamantium Rage.
Is that the one that he loses his life or whatever whenever he uses his claws?
No, that one's just Wolverine on the NES. That game's bullshit too.
Okay.
Adamantium Rage, but they only did the Super NES version. I don't know which one is worse. I had the Genesis version as a kid, and I remember being so fucking pissed off at that game.
Well, it didn't hurt that, Wolverine was like your favorite X-Men.
I learned how to read because of Wolverine. And the X-Men, but...
And then having him have no good games for, like, how long?
No, well, he really... the X-Men 2, like, Wolverine's Revenge game, or whatever it was on the PS2, that's the best one.
The Wolverine movie game I hear is pretty decent. Like, I heard it's actually pretty good, considering, it's a movie-based game.
I hear it's gory as fuck.
I do know that, like, he'll impale people and then, like, chop their heads off with, like, helicopter rotor blades.
Fuck yeah.
His body will deteriorate and you can see a skeleton underneath and you'll just see his skin heal over it.
That's cool.
His body takes a beat, and it doesn't really follow the movie too much. I like most high-end games, honestly, but you do get to fight a Sentinel, like a really tall Sentinel.
Awesome.
And,
I love Sentinels.
From what I've seen of it, the setting of it looks really cool, because you see, like, its head coming up over the building, and it's like, you look right at his eyes and it raises up.
What was that horrible X-Men game that came out on this generation of consoles?
X-Men Destinies.
Good job. You got that on one try.
Here's the thing. You do not play as an X-Men. You play as one of three people who you have to pick powers from the X-Men. You don't even get your own original thing. And then it's not co-op.
Which is so weird because, like, so much of the X-Men is based on teamwork.
Yeah, there's hardly one X-Men that really shines consistently, like, every, issue.
Which is bullshit because, X-Men Legends, like, that's what makes X-Men Legends work.
Yeah.
Building your own X-Men team from the ground up, essentially, and...
Yeah, figuring out which character's abilities and traits work well with your playstyle and the situation you're in.
Do you know what I found out?
What's that?
Well, it's a pretty easy game, but I'm good with all of them. Like, I'm such an X-Men nerd that I can figure out, like, how to build pretty much any team and make them good.
I remember I really liked having Wolverine and Juggernaut and Jean was my favorite three to have. And Jean was great because once she had the ability to pick people up,
just hold them in place and let the other two clobber them.
Yeah, and then, or you just throw them off a ledge.
Oh, fire, bad, oh.
And I liked being able to do the fastball special with Wolverine.
Hell yeah.
It's anybody.
I'm glad they put that in there. That's a nice little like nod to the fans. It's not really fan pandering. Right. Well, I guess it is fan pandering, but it's such a simple, small little thing.
It makes sense because it looks, you have to have a super strength to be able to do it. That's the only requisite of the character. Anybody with superhuman strength has to be able to do it.
I like how they have, like, Nightcrawler will teleport and save you when you're low on health, because that's another thing he was known for.
Mm-hmm. That's the one thing, like, on the, Genesis games and stuff like that, like, when you fell off Jean or somebody would come and save you. It'd pick you up. It would just, you'd lose a little bit of health. That
was the first X-Men game on, Genesis. And Jean would catch you in the force field and then pick you back up.
Yeah, and then you had strikers where, like, you could call in Rogue to come and just beat the screen up a bit.
She would rush across the screen. Storm was the best one in my opinion.
Cause she did like area effect spells, right? Like she just wiped everything down.
She just wiped everything out on the screen. Archangel would do like strafing motions across the screen, and Iceman would build a bridge.
Yeah, that's right. He would clear gaps for you.
Yeah.
The one thing I love playing Iceman in the games is like just jumping up and just gliding with his ice slide.
Yeah, it's always cool.
As soon as you got enough mana regen and stuff, you could do it infinitely.
Pretty much.
Okay, so anyway, Captain America.
Hey, at least this digression, we still stuck with comic books and video games.
That's true.